Bulgaria, the small country in Eastern Europe, famous for its nature and a touristic destination for many. Beautiful mountains, golden beaches and friendly people, always inviting their guests for a memorable visit. At the end of this summer, the country hosted something more. A special group of visitors who were trying to catch the charm of this part of Europe. A unique race, the first 8-day competition in Europe for classic cars, gathering some of the most famous drivers and cars in the world. Days before the start of the first Balkan Classic Rallye, the competitors crowded the first bivouac in the mountain village of Borovets, 70 kilometers from the capital Sofia. The race uses the organization and the tracks of the 6th edition of the Balkan Off-Road Rally, one of the biggest cross-country and extreme competitions in Europe. And as it was their first race in Bulgaria, the classic teams did not know what to expect.
I expect good roads and a tough event. Yeah.
I have been in Hungary and Romania, so I know the mountains will be very nice and beautiful, and of course technical driving. So yeah, very nice. I hope we don't have too many punctures because I have a job to do then. But we will read the terrain and consider it's an 8-day race, so it's finishing the last day. That's the only ambition. I have been doing the off-road rallies on motorbikes for 15 years and also now turned into cars in the Dakar Rally. So I got 8 starts in the Dakar Rally. But for me it's the first time in a historic car in an off-road event. So this will be a new combination for me. But I do historic rally on my own with my rally car, the European Championship. So it's a great adventure and also to see what the old cars can do here.
After the last technical checks, it's ready to go for 15 classic teams who received their approval to start and take part in this unknown challenge. The official start in front of the biggest Orthodox cathedral in the Balkans, the St. Alexander Nevsky. Cars, side-by-sides, bikes, ATVs and trucks mixed with the classics and shiny diamonds. Ready to tackle 1400 kilometers special stage in the forthcoming 8 days. Minister of Sport, Mr. Krasen Kralev, was among the VIP guests and he was impressed with these unique machines. The fans could see the history of motorsport just in front of them. The Datsun, Porsche, Toyota, Peugeot, Ford, Opel. It was time for action and the crews were impatient to see the first stage. Starting on the Morgash Mountains, on a rocky, high-altitude stage, the competitors reached one of the high points in the Balkan Classic Rally right at the beginning. It was a rocky and difficult first stage for the competitors, who had to adjust their driving style to the typical terrain found on the Morgash mountain area. It was not an easy start for the classic cars, with the riders and the organization adjusting to the terrain, the navigation and the speed of these fantastic vehicles.
First impressions of the first day were definitely very rough, very technical, enjoyable, but it felt like a workout. I think the first stage was very rocky. They had more rain than they expected, so I think a lot of the mountain came down. The second stage was very technical. It wasn't very fast, but very technical. Lots of hairpin corners, lots of ditches, easy to be caught out. And the third stage was it was a short stage. It was relatively quick. It was fine. It was a little slippery, but it was very good.
Brits Geoff Bell and Tim Challen were the first day winners, opening the stage at the start of the second day. And indeed it was a great day in the mountains with adventurous driving, wide panoramas, a pleasure for the eye, just as the excellent lineup in the Balkan Classic Rallye with the incredible speed of the Datsuns, Fords and Porsches. Adjusting to the new terrain, the drivers learned about Bulgaria's soil and the best way to handle the mountain roads. Sometimes it seems like the answer to any question thrown at them was push the throttle, which is a blessing for photographers and the public. And with this type of track, the crews had to learn how to fly too. Passing through the Rhodopian Mountains for the last time, the Balkan Classic Rallye said goodbye to the mountain areas and headed east to the second bivouac in Starosel. With the slow and rocky roads history, the crews reached the fields of the Trakya Plain. Here the biggest issue was the tricky navigation and many of the crews lost time. A new leader emerged. Andrew Siddle and Andy Bull with their Datsun topped the overall ranking with a comfortable lead over Jorge Perez from Argentina. The next morning there was a good mood and high hopes for another tough and beautiful day by the competitors.
Here we are again. Separate canisters on the suspension.
It's a question of survival. We had the car on its nose yesterday, and we've bent the rhubar in, which must have taken a hell of an impact. So we've had problems with the gearboxes. We've had to change the gearbox a couple of times, but you know, it's a long way to go, miles and miles and miles to go. But the weather's good, and we're looking forward to going to see the Black Sea.
With the change of terrain after each corner, the stage offers high speed and technical sections. The fastest on the road today was Belgian rally veteran Bernard Munster, navigated by his wife Andrea Hansen. They were just flying their Porsche 911 and managed to set the best time of the day. Winning consecutive stages, only the mechanical problems of the first day kept him off the podium. Bernard found his best form at the right moment and was the fastest on stage 5 as well when the rally headed to its final destination, the marvellous golden beach of Skopilovce. In this area of northeastern Bulgaria, the crews had to make their final claims for the podium, showing no mercy, pushing the cars to the limit. At the same time, Andrew Siddle was being clever. The Brit was not pushing, and he gave the opportunity for mistakes to his rivals. Leg 6 promised to be very fast and competitive for the first cruise on the track, but the last in order were caught by a hailstorm, which made the dusty roads look like a trophy puzzle. Ewald Höller and his Toyota Corolla solved the problem of reaching the top of the highest hill in the most easy way. He threw his co-driver in the back of the car for extra weight on the rear axle. The fastest car of the day was Jeff Bell's Datsun, who finished 2 minutes 20 ahead of the overall leader Andrew Seddle. Bernhard Münster and his Porsche tried to mix with the leaders and finished less than a minute behind Seddle in the stage. Graham Samuel, with the Ford Escort MK2, was fourth for the day, and the fifth place of Karim Wisani was something he could be proud of. The Kenyan driver had an awful accident earlier in the rally when he hit a concrete post at high speed. His mechanics did a great job, fixing all the damage and keeping Karim and his co-driver Amaslach on the track until the last day of the rally. On the seventh day, the end was near and the battle for the podium was fierce. The mechanics were doing their best to keep the cars going after more than 1,000 kilometers of special stages so far. The technical mountain stages were already forgotten. The biggest weapon for everyone was pure speed. Long, dusty straight were the arena of the last 2 days, and it was crunch time for those who were chasing a top 3 spot. With over 250 kilometers of special stage, the seventh day is the one of the marathon drivers. Racing on a fast and long stage, they had to deal with fatigue, technical problems and overall tiredness after a week of racing and the tension of the last chance for the podium. It was Bernhard Münster again who took the leg win in his flying Porsche. Leader Andrew Seddal was once again clever, taking his foot off the throttle and reaching the finish line in 5th position, but consolidating his overall lead. Seddal understood very well that only a big mistake or technical problem could stop him. He did not take any chances. It was the last day with its long 161 kilometer special stage that was going to determine the podium, or at least the last spot on it. Belgian Bernhard Münster wins the last stage of the rally with furious driving on the last kilometers. He was followed by the 3 Datsuns of Jeff Bell, Andrew Seddal and Jonathan Sauvage. The 8th place of the Czechs Andrei Kuval and Roman Madeira, also with Datsun, was enough to have a Central European crew in the 3rd place on the podium. Jeff Bell and Tim Challen finished the rally in 2nd, almost 1 hour behind the historic first champions of the Balkan Classic Rallye, Andrew Seddal and Andy Bull.
It's just been relentless, a lot of mileage. The car has been superb, had a few issues which we've overcome, punctures, gearboxes, brakes went into a mountain, all sorts of adventures. But we've managed to get through to the end and very pleased and relieved. The opportunity to be able to come to a new country and see wonderful countryside, happy people, and the organisation's been absolutely fabulous. Maybe Alex needs to make 1 or 2 changes to the surface of the roads that we use. These aren't off-road cars, they're 1970s rally cars, so they're not quite used to some of the terrain that we've been across, but I'm sure he's a very, very quick learner, very intelligent man, and I'm sure he'll come up with some changes that will be beneficial to us.
There is an FIA spec cars, there is a Safari spec cars, but now after this rally there is a Balkan spec cars, and they said they will come next year with many others, many friends from all around the world, and we will for sure do the rally on a separate dates, and there's going to be 2 events, one for only classic cars and another one for cross country and extreme. This is what's going to be next year.
Smiles everywhere and deserved joy, not only for the winners but for everyone who was part of this historical debut of the Balkan Classic Rally. And there's one new question: who will be next year's winner?